Some areas, some farmers are losing their crop. You know what I mean? They can't make those sales.
Ever wondered what happens when a once barren lake comes back to life after a century? Well, Tulare Lake did just that in 2023. But here's the twist. Something eerie is emerging from its depths. What's going on, and should we be worried? Join us on this exploration as we uncover the secrets behind Tulare Lake's unexpected revival. We'll dive into the factors driving its rapid restoration, explore its regional impact, and ponder the uncertain future it now faces. Don't miss out on the answers to these intriguing questions. Stay tuned. Tulare Lake made a surprising comeback this year, turning things around for Californians. Once a quiet lake with very little water, it defied expectations by filling up again after many years of decline. This unexpected rise in water levels was a huge relief for towns like Allensworth, Orapaw, and Corcoran, especially for farmers who struggled during a long-lasting drought. But alongside this comeback, something scary has surfaced, adding a new layer of worry for the region. To really grasp why the return of Tulare Lake is causing concern, let's take a quick trip back in time. This lake, also known as Laguna de Teche, has a rich history in the western United States. Nestled in California's San Joaquin Valley, it used to be the biggest freshwater lake in the entire western region, covering about 690 square miles. Back in its prime, the Kings, Kaweah, and Tule rivers all came together to fill Tulare Lake, creating a bustling aquatic home for various plants and animals. It wasn't just about size. The lake played a crucial role in supporting the ecosystems of the region. Going even further back, the lake was a vital resource for indigenous peoples like the Yokuts and other Native American tribes. It provided them with food and materials, sustaining their way of life. So, Tulare Lake's return isn't just about water levels. It's like witnessing a piece of history coming back to life. But with it comes a mix of excitement and worry, as the region grapples with unexpected challenges. Let's time travel about 600,000 years back when Tulare Lake first appeared, as discovered by the Lamar Ceramics Museum. The region, shaped by nature over eons, had an intricate network of wetland habitats, an extraordinary wonder. The Tulare Basin attracted countless waterbirds, both residents and migratory ones, with its expansive wetlands, forming a breathtaking spectacle of bird diversity. Picture it: graceful grebes, majestic pelicans, elegant herons, and charming ducks, all converging in these lively waters. The skies were alive with the wings of ibises, geese, and sandhill cranes, while the shores were bustling with plovers, stilts, and avocets. It was a paradise where nature's symphony played out, a theater where birds and land coexisted peacefully. Regrettably, the story takes a turn in the mid-1800s with the arrival of European settlers. Their need for irrigation resulted in canals and structures that unintentionally severed Tulare Lake from its life-giving waters, gradually reducing its once impressive size. In just 50 years, by 1899, the unthinkable occurred. The mighty Tulare Lake dried up, replaced by a haunting emptiness. Driven by the promise of fertile farmland, settlers claimed the newly exposed land, reshaping the landscape with levees and alterations to natural waterways to control water flow and prevent flooding. And so, the transformation of the lakebed began, altering the course of Tulare Lake permanently. But let's not overlook the lasting legacy of the Native Americans in the Tulare Lake Basin, the Yokuts tribe. The original inhabitants cherished the land for its abundant wildlife and plant resources. Through their resource management practices and deep cultural values, the Yokuts shaped the basin to support their communities, leaving an enduring legacy etched into the landscape. Their connection with the land was evident in how they used its natural resources, creating a heritage that echoes through the pages of Tulare's history, a deep-rooted legacy that remains part of the lake's story. Long ago, when people with new tools came to California, they changed everything. They used smart tools to turn snow from the mountains into fields for farming. This made lots of food but also caused problems. Places with water disappeared, and Tulare Lake, which was once big and strong, disappeared too. As time passed, the lake got smaller because water was used for crops. Rivers that fed the lake were changed, and by 1878, the lake was empty. Tulare Lake, once beautiful, never fully came back. But in 2023, something surprising happened. Tulare Lake filled up with water again, even though it had been dry for a long time. While this made some people happy, others were sad. Now, let's find out how this dry lake turned into a full one again. Nature did it, using rain and snow in a special way. It started with lots of rain and snow in the winter and spring, a gift from the weather. Two rivers with lots of water came to Tulare Lake, bringing heavy rains that filled the land and the rivers that fed the lake. Now, let's talk about the amazing Sierra Nevada mountains. Covered in a huge layer of snow, these mountains held a lot of frozen water. When spring came, the warm sun made the snow melt, and tons of water rushed down into the valleys. The rivers, filled with rain and melted snow, overflowed into the once empty lake bed. It seemed like the heavens and the mountains teamed up to bring life back to the dry and barren land. But there's a worrying thing happening in Lake Tulare. A dangerous bird disease called avian botulism is spreading. This disease can wipe out whole groups of waterfowl and shorebirds. The lake's shallow, warm waters are the perfect place for this disease to grow, affecting birds that live there or visit during migration. People are working hard to manage the disease, rescuing and treating hundreds of birds. Unfortunately, thousands of birds still die from this deadly condition. Avian botulism is caused by bacteria called Clostridium botulinum that make harmful toxins. It messes with a bird's nervous system, causing paralysis and death. These bacteria are natural in wetland soils but only become harmful under certain conditions, like when warm, shallow water mixes with decaying plants or animals. The impact of avian botulism on Lake Tulare is big and worrying. It makes thousands of birds that depend on the lake for food, shelter, and breeding sick or dead. The lake is a crucial home for many bird species, including millions that travel along the Pacific Flyway. This disease threatens the health and survival of these birds and the overall balance of life in the lake. Birds like mallards, ibises, egrets, pelicans, coots, and grebes are among those affected. Steve Gonzalez from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife tells us that avian botulism weakens a bird's muscles and neck, making its head hang underwater, leading to drowning. Many groups and organizations are working together to fight avian botulism at Lake Tulare. Daily monitoring by the department is crucial, saving hundreds of birds by collecting them from the lake and taking them to rehabilitation centers. Sadly, more than 2,500 birds have died this year alone because of avian botulism. Looking forward, around 1 million birds will pass through the region in the next months as part of their yearly migration. The lake's comeback brings both challenges and chances for taking care of this important ecosystem. The community and leaders are facing tough decisions about what's next for the lake's future. Lake Tulare's unexpected return has brought both wonder and worry to the local communities and farms. This revival happened because of an unusually wet winter, with powerful storms hitting California in March 2023. Sadly, these storms also brought heavy rains and melted snow, causing big floods along the Sanwa River and breaches in the Los Angeles Aqueduct. The water levels in rivers like Kings, Kaweah, Tule, and Kern, the main contributors to the lake, rose so much that they flooded large areas of low-lying farmland. It created a shallow lake covering thousands of acres. NASA's Landsat 8 and Aqua satellites captured this incredible transformation between March 2nd and April 1st, 2023. The return of Tulare Lake became a captivating natural event, grabbing the attention of scientists, farmers, environmentalists, and the public. However, it also brought significant challenges to the people and the environment in the region. Local communities such as Corcoran, Allensworth, and Alpa suddenly found themselves surrounded by water, leading to evacuation alerts. The lake also took over fertile farmlands that grew crops like cotton, tomatoes, wheat, and almonds, and hosted dairy and poultry farming. This sudden change seriously disrupted these agricultural activities. Estimates from the Kings County Farm Bureau suggest that the lake covered about 990,000 acres of farmland, forcing the evacuation of livestock like cows and chickens. All this flooding caused substantial economic losses for the agricultural sector in the Tulare Lake Basin, totaling up to a significant $140 million. The return of Tulare Lake, while fascinating, brought about real and challenging consequences for the people and the economy in the region. The resurgence of Tulare Lake not only highlights nature's resilience after significant human interventions, but also presents California with complex challenges in managing its water resources amid changing climate conditions. Viewers have expressed concerns, particularly about potential flooding caused by the lake's resurgence. Addressing these concerns involves exploring floodplain management strategies to protect people and property. 3 major floodplain management strategies are being considered. The first involves raising roadways and levees around the lake to prevent water spillage and mitigate damage to crops, homes, and infrastructure. This strategy also ensures a safe evacuation route during emergencies. Another approach is constructing portable barriers to control water flow and divert it to needed or storage areas, reducing the risk of avian botulism by improving water quality and lowering temperature. The third strategy focuses on restoring wetlands around the lake. Wetlands act as natural absorbers of excess water, alleviating pressure on levees and canals. They provide habitats for wildlife, support carbon sequestration, offer recreational opportunities, and enhance ecosystem services like water purification and flood regulation. This strategy aims to restore the lake's natural functions and values. While these strategies offer potential solutions, they come with challenges and trade-offs, necessitating careful evaluation of environmental, social, and economic impacts, as well as ensuring feasibility and sustainability. Stakeholder participation and cooperation are crucial for fairness and effectiveness in implementing these strategies. Concerningly, it was revealed that most of California's levee systems are old and outdated, averaging 60 years. Prioritizing replacements often favors affluent urban areas, leaving rural and disadvantaged communities at a disadvantage. However, state efforts and farmer initiatives have reduced flooding risks for vulnerable communities. Governor Gavin Newsom's recent pledge of $17 million to fortify Corcoran's levees is a positive step. Yet innovative strategies are required to revolutionize flood management. Restoring floodplains is one such solution, acting as natural sponges to absorb excess water and alleviate strain on levee systems. Allowing rivers to meander onto historical floodplains creates a harmonious balance between man and nature, mitigating the risk of catastrophic floods and safeguarding communities. Strategic land use changes, including relocating infrastructure, implementing better drainage systems, and adopting sustainable agricultural practices, contribute to reshaping the flood-prone landscape. The California Department of Water Resources is actively diverting excess water before it reaches the expansive lakebed. With floodwaters potentially lingering for up to 2 years, every diverted drop counts in safeguarding the environment and the livelihoods of those in the region. People are debating what to do with Tulare Lake now that it's come back to life. The big question is whether we should bring it back as a home for fish and wildlife, or use it for farming and other things. This is a tricky question that needs everyone to work together and find a middle ground. We have to think about how each option affects the environment, people, and the economy. Making the lake a home for wildlife might be good for nature, but it could hurt farming. On the other hand, using the lake for farming might help farmers, but it could also bring problems like bird diseases and soil issues. A well-known fish expert, Peter Moyle, thinks we should make Tulare Lake a home for fish, but this decision is complicated. We have to consider things like having enough water, dealing with climate changes, and figuring out the rules and money needed to take care of the lake. Research tells us that keeping the lake full would need a lot of water, about 1.5 million acre-feet each year. This is a big chunk of the basin's total water, and making this happen would mean changing how we use the land, water, and laws. It would also affect farming, which is a major source of food and money for the state. Making a plan to bring back the lake needs the communities involved to work together, balancing their needs for water, which might lead to disagreements. They also have to get ready for changes, like protecting from floods, saving water, making water better, bringing back wetlands, and making nature stronger.